Hello world, welcome back to Razor RC. In this video we're going to cover the brand new Team Associated B6.2 and B6.2D. This came out a few weeks ago, maybe about a month ago, in January of 2020. And we're going to cover a bunch of different things. We're going to cover the changes from the B6.1, differences between the B6.2 and the B6.2D dirt car, and then finally a full review of this kit and whether I think you should pick one of these up. Is it worth it to buy one of these brand new kits? Let's find out. So first off, a quick introduction about this kit. Two-wheel drive electric race buggy 10th scale from Team Associated. Probably the most popular RC race kit in the world. I'll go over my kit in particular. It's not completely stock. Quick look at the body there. So my particular kit, I'm running a Savox 1258 TG titanium geared servo, RX 462 receiver from Sanwa, Hobbywing XR10 just stock ESC, and then a Reedy 17.5 turn S Plus motor. Also got some option parts here in the front, Exotech aluminum camber block, and the hinge pin brace down there on the bottom. Adds a little more durability, and then a fully aluminum steering rack. Running the slipper eliminator, if it's the same one from the 6.1, so you can just move that over. And I think that's pretty much it. Otherwise, a completely stock kit. So this is the 6.2. They make two versions, the B6.2, which is a carpet astroturf version, and the B6.2D, which is a dirt version or indoor clay type vehicle. We'll kind of go through this kit and the changes and updates from the B6.1. So pretty much the front end is basically the same. The only difference really is this front little wing here, front wing mount. They did change some of the screws inside the steering rack from a shoulder screw down to just a regular 3mm screw, but otherwise the steering rack is exactly the same. On the chassis, you got a brand new body here, slightly different look to it, a little more of a cab 4 type design or full cab type design, so slight changes there. In the B6.1 they did have two versions. They had a lightweight body and a full weight body, but this is kind of feels like an in-between body. It's not really lightweight, not really a full heavyweight body, so I think they're just using the exact same shell for both cars. On the chassis itself, there are two versions of the chassis. The carpet comes with a plus 3mm chassis, and then the regular dirt one is the same chassis as the B6.1, slightly shorter. No change there. And then they actually also offer now a little fan mount here on the back, but I'm not using it because I feel like it pushes the fan a little bit too close to the motor here. It kind of gets in the way of the motor sensor wire. So I'm just mounting mine double-sided taped here to the chassis as I did before on my B6.1. Other than that, the chassis is basically exactly the same, so really no change there, especially on the dirt version. And so the main changes are really on the rear of the vehicle. Transmission case is exactly the same, but what they've done is come with some new arms. So on the dirt version, they still got the 69mm dog bones, still got the same length arms, although they are now different. They are actually have sort of two holes on one side and one hole on the front. And you can flip them from left to right if you want to use either the front holes or the back holes. And then here on the hubs is the other main difference. You're running basically a shell style or Yokomo style type rear hub with adjustable, height and length ball studs and camber link locations. The rear hubs are also slightly different. Now they are actually a right-left hub, because what they did was they took the arms, made them just kind of straight out, and then to get that forward sweep like you had on the B6.1, they just kind of moved the hubs up forward a little bit, about 2mm to make that the same. Now the carpet version like we got here is slightly different. The arms are 75mm, so they're 2mm longer. The drive shafts themselves, instead of 67, they're 69mm. I think I said that wrong about the dirt car. The dirt car is still 67mm. The carpet car is now 69mm. And then on the hexes themselves, they actually scooted them in 2mm. They're 5mm wide instead of 7mm wide to get you that same length. So really the rear end, they are different arms, different hubs. and on the carpet version, different drive shafts. But on the dirt version, even though these are new parts, I believe the geometry is exactly the same, no change there from the B6.1. So the car is essentially the same performance-wise for the dirt car, but just different parts to get you that same geometry. Overall, the build was not particularly good. I had a couple of problems with it out of the box. A couple of the bearings in the transmission were completely seized, totally unusable. Even when I took them apart and tried to relubricate them and stuff, they were not working, so I had to replace those out of the box. My transmission also did not fit together quite as well as the B6.1. Now, I do know how to put together a transmission, had no problems with the B6.1. I've seen all the instructions and tips on how to put one together. I spent literally a couple hours trying to get this thing to fit as well as possible, making sure everything is lined up, and it's still not perfectly smooth. It's about 80% there, but in my opinion, the B6.1, at least in my experience, fit together a little bit better. Maybe I had got a bum kit or a bad mold or something like that, but definitely did not fit together quite as well. Other problems I had are the O-rings on the shocks were slightly too large. Now they do seal, they are working, but they don't fit quite as well as my B6.1 O-rings did. So I think they, in my opinion, they probably switched O-ring vendors, maybe switched bearing vendors, because the bearings don't seem quite as smooth. And as per usual, Team Associate stuff, parts are still on parts trees, no wheels in the box. It does come with body and wing, although you do have to trim those yourself. The stickers you have to trim yourself, they are not pre-cut. So actually, overall, this is probably the worst Team Associate build I've ever done. I've built probably about 10 Team Associate kits here in my lifetime, and this is pretty much the worst. It would not run out of the box without replacing bearings. O-rings are not quite right. So actually, I have to give it a pretty poor score in the build category. I'm going to give it 1 star out of 5. Worst kit I've had to build from Team Associate, and yeah, just overall not really that great. Okay, let's talk about the design of Team Associate B6.2. Pretty much the same as the B6.1, really no major changes. This is probably the least amount of upgrades and changes they've made from one version to the next. Front end, as usual, adjustable camber link locations, adjustable axle heights on the front end, obviously different shock locations. The hinge pin brace can be reversed between 25-30 degrees. You got a nice little integrated sway bar mount, reverse bell cranks here on the front end. I do recommend getting the aluminum horn. Maybe you don't have to get the full aluminum bell cranks, but aluminum horn is pretty much a must. Easily removable servo, nice little weights. So on the carpet car, you get a steel weight for the servo and a steel weight for the electronics. And then on the dirt version, they just have an aluminum weight for the electronics. But nice little adjustable weight bias. Of course, you've got the standard Team Associate battery strap. You can move it forward and aft a few different locations, especially on the dirt version. You do need some tools to remove these little blue nuts to get that battery strap out. Not my favorite design, but it does work. Now it does actually have an integrated fan mount, although I don't think it works particularly well, but that was one of my main complaints with the B6.1. They did not have a fan mount, so nice to see they corrected that. Mid-motor design, of course, comes in 2 different transmissions. The carpet comes with a laid-down transmission, 3-gear, and then the dirt version comes with a lay-back or lay-down. You can have sort of your choice of which of those you want to use. Slipper, of course, with sort of the pass-through steel screw. I'm running the slipper eliminator to eliminate some weight. Now on the shocks themselves, same as before, 2 by 1.6 pistons up front, 2 by 1.8 pistons in the rear for the carpet version. The dirt one's supposed to come with 2 by 1.7s, aluminum shock bodies, titanium nitride coated shafts, plastic shock caps, machined pistons, and then X-rings in the actual shocks themselves. So overall, just kind of a standard shock, nothing special about that, not particularly smooth. I'd say they're kind of average in performance. And then you got carbon fiber shock towers, of course, front and rear, extendable wing mount. And then the really nice design piece of this is the 3-part transmission, where you can basically pop off the top half, get your gear diff out of there, or ball diff, without actually having to tear apart the whole transmission. So that's a really nice feature. I like that a lot. Sway bar mounts in the back, And then with these brand new hubs on the ends, a lot of adjustments on those camber link locations. And then on the C and D blocks here, standard pill system, adjustable toe, adjustable anti-squat, all that kind of stuff. So nice little design overall, aluminum camber block here in the back. So yeah, in my opinion, pretty much class leading design. Has all the nice tunability features that you would want to have on your cars. A lot of adjustments on weight biased, easily accessible diffs. So overall, really good design. I'm always a big fan of this buggy, and they really have just kind of made it slightly better through the year. So overall, in design category, I'm going to give it 5 stars out of 5. So how does this buggy actually drive? And I've driven the B6.1 as a dirt car and also as a carpet car. My local track switched from indoor clay to carpet, so pretty familiar with how it drives in 2 different types of surfaces. With the B6.2, I'm running just carpet, and it is an improvement over the B6.1 carpet car. The rear end, I think, is a little bit better. A little more stable, neutral, easy to drive, not quite as edgy. The plus 3mm chassis, again, also makes the car a little more forgiving, easy to drive. Maybe not quite as nimble, but also not quite as twitchy, but actually that is a tuning option you could use on your carpet car. You could use a standard B6.2 chassis, which is the same as the 6.1, and shorten that chassis a little bit if you want a little more rotation, a little more nimbleness. But yeah, overall performance is really, really high on this vehicle. I think the stock kit up out of the box is really, really good. I think most people are just going to run that and be pretty happy with it. So performance overall, I'm going to give it 5 stars. Really nice, easy to drive buggy, on carpet, dirt, whatever type of surface you're on. I think you'll be very happy with performance. So 5 stars. In terms of durability, I think I'm going to give it a different rating for the dirt car and the carpet car. Now the B6.1 I had as a dirt car, and I pretty much never broke anything on that kit except for, you know, normal consumables like the wing, but the buggy was super, super durable. Didn't break arms, didn't break hubs, didn't break shock tires. Overall, the kit was super durable, and the B6.2D is essentially exactly the same car, really no changes there, and I expect the durability exactly the same. So I'm going to give it 5 stars for the dirt car. Now the carpet car, I think, has always kind of had some weaknesses up front with the stock plastic pieces. So this little hinge pin brace on the bottom, a lot of people break those. I've broken those. This front camber block, I've never broken the actual camber block, but with that plastic, with that flex, I have bent several ball studs, and I do recommend getting the aluminum camber block. Now, steering rack, I've always run the aluminum for the last few years, so I can't really talk about how durable that is on carpet, but I have friends that run a lot of the plastic ones and they haven't broken anything, so I think that part is fine. But I do feel like that hinge pin brace is basically a must on the carpet car. I wish that came with it out of the box. I think that would be worth adding $10 or so to the price just to get that aluminum hinge pin brace, because I think that's basically a must-have. So overall durability on the B6.2 carpet version, I'm actually going to give it 3 stars. Not super durable. I do think it needs that little upgrade just to make it basically usable. Support and maintenance for the Team Associated B6.2 is pretty much class leading. They're the largest RC company, I think, supported worldwide, popular in every country, especially here in the United States. Easy to get parts. Parts don't really go out of stock. The prices of those parts are fairly cheap. Now, in addition to that, there are a lot of team drivers, a lot of setup sheets. You can contact Team Associated themselves if you need help getting parts. If you do have problems with your kit, out of the box, they will replace them for free. So overall, support and maintenance is one of the highlights of owning a Team Associated kit. I'm going to give it a full 5 stars out of 5. In addition to that, there's a lot of aftermarket support. You can buy parts from J-Concepts, Exotech, all kinds of third-party vendors, so you can upgrade your kit, get titanium parts, etc. So yeah, really nice to own a Team Associated kit, and definitely in this area, it's class leading. The B6.2 and B6.2D sell for $339. That's pretty much the lowest price of all the major brands. The X-Ray, the Yokomo, the Kyosho, even the TLR 2250 Elite, they all cost more, somewhere between $370 and $420. So this is pretty much the cheapest of the major two-wheel drive race buggy kits out there. So obviously the price is quite good. Now I do think they sort of skimp on some of the things in the box. No wheels, of course, you know, everything is on parts trees. Body you have to cut, even the stickers you have to cut. So while it is the cheapest, I do think you lose a little bit of value in some other areas. Other than that though, I do have to give it a little bit above average score. I'm going to give it 4 stars out of 5 because it is quite economical. You can basically buy this kit, maybe just buy that aluminum hinge pin piece and be ready to go. And probably save a few dollars over the other kits out there. So overall value, 4 stars out of 5. So final thoughts about the Team Associated B6.2 and B6.2D. Should you buy one? We're going to answer that right now. In my opinion, they made pretty minor upgrades to this kit. Really on the front end, they added a front wing, but you could buy that yourself. They added a little fan mount. You could buy that yourself. Now, if you want the plus 3mm chassis, obviously that's now available in the B6.2. That wasn't really available before. And then the other main changes are here on the rear end for the carpet car. So you do have longer arms, longer drive shafts. It does make it a little smoother on the rear end, a little less edgy, a little bit easier to drive. That transition from grip to sliding is a little more neutral. So I do see improvements mostly on the carpet side. Really, I think out of the box, this is their best carpet car they've ever made. It is definitely better than their previous B6.1. And so I think for the carpet version, especially if you don't own a kit today, it is worth picking this up. Now on the dirt side, if you look at this kit, I don't really think they made any significant changes. In fact, the way I would describe it is they decided they needed to improve their carpet car. They made some changes to the rear end. It does make it a little bit better. They made the chassis changes. It does make it a little bit better. And so they knew they were going to release a carpet version. And they were like, okay, well, we got to release the carpet version. We might as well make updates to the dirt version, even though it's not really better. So they integrated those same changes with the hubs, the arms, but the geometry, everything is the same. I expect the dirt version to pretty much drive exactly the same as the B6.1. There might be slight differences with those aluminum pieces there on the rear hubs, but really out of the box should pretty much drive exactly the same for the dirt version. So if you already have a B6.1 dirt version, probably not really worth it to upgrade to a B6.2D. I mean, you could buy those rear end parts, but I don't think you're gonna get much performance gain, especially if you're not like a top tier race driver. It should pretty much drive about the same. Carpet wise, yeah, it's going to cost you a bit to try to get the exact same setup on your carpet car. So it's probably worth it to sell your B6.1, get, you know, 150 bucks or so for that, and then upgrade to a B6.2 carpet car. You do get some other things like the steel plate, the front wing. So there are some nice improvements there. So overall, B6.2, I think it's a very, very minor upgrade. There are some improvements, especially on the carpet side. Dirt side, not so much. So it kind of depends on where you are today. If you don't have a car, I always recommend you buy the latest. I do not recommend you buy a B6.1 and then, you know, try to upgrade it or whatever. Overall, it's generally going to be better from a resale value side, and then also just from a part support side to get the latest stuff. So that's my review on the Team Associated B6.2 and B6.2D. Hope you liked it. Definitely hit that subscribe button, hit the ad notifications button if you like reviews like this. Look for more videos soon, and thanks for watching.